Soldiers from the U.S. Army Alaska, along with soldiers from the Indian Army, joined together at Fort Richardson Buckner Physical Fitness Center to begin exercise Yudh Abhyas with an opening ceremony.
Today we're celebrating the beginning of Yudh Abhyas 2010, so we just had our opening ceremonies to mark the occasion.
This exercise is designed to promote cooperation between two militaries, to develop U.S. Army Pacific and U.S. Army Alaska relationships with India, and to promote battle tracking and maneuvering forces, as well as exchange tactics, techniques, and procedures.
I think it's great to see the Indian Army so excited to be here, so excited and ready to train, and that fires our guys up, and everybody's really just itching to get after it. We're ready to jump, ready to shoot guns, and ready to train.
Like any other theater security cooperation program, Yudh Abhyas allows participants from both armies to train together and enjoy an enriched appreciation for each other's culture and professional traditions.
Very good. Thank you, sir. Really have great exercise. Great exercise.
The show is about to begin as soldiers from the 25th Infantry Division's 4th Brigade Combat Team from Joint Base Elmendorf, Richardson, Alaska, take the stage. Or more accurately, share the stage with special guests, their Indian counterparts from the 62nd Infantry and 5th Parachute Regiment Brigade. They've traveled here from India to take part in Yudh Abhyas 2010, an annual joint and bilateral training exercise designed to enhance and build upon the relationship between the U.S. and Indian forces by focusing on shared operational knowledge. And with that, Yudh Abhyas 2010 begins as the two armies unite in an opening ceremony.
India and USA are two of the largest democracies in the world, sharing common values and aspirations. I'm sure there's a lot to learn from each other for the two professional armies. I'm confident that such joint training exercises will keep us in good stead in times to come.
Some of you may be wondering what this exercise is all about. Yudh Abhyas is a regular scheduled Indian-U.S. Army Pacific co-sponsored bilateral exercise hosted by Indian and U.S. Armies on a rotational basis. The exercise is designed to build lasting friendships through the promotion of cooperation among our two great democracies.
The two-week exercise will include a command post exercise, airborne operations training, marksmanship, and tactical training. But for now, standing together side by side highlights the bilateral spirit of Yudh Abhyas 2010. Petty Officer Justin Whiteman, Joint Base Elmendorf, Richardson, Alaska.
So the colors are present.
On the first official day of Yudh Abhyas, U.S. soldiers familiarized Indian Army soldiers with U.S. weapon systems to prepare them for future events such as engagement skills training.
We're doing joint training with the Indian Army. I have one of my platoons teaching them basic rifle marksmanship and giving them a familiar fire with the virtual trainer here.
Marksmanship isn't all they are learning on the first day. Medics from 140th Cav set up a medic truck outdoors to teach the Indian Army soldiers basic first aid.
We're doing training, cross-training them on our equipment so that they can get familiar with our stuff and, kind of broaden their spectrum. Under, and then you want to grab like this or grab his arm like this. Get up and then run. They're all really eager to learn. They definitely like learning this stuff, and I think they're definitely going to take it back and hopefully use it.
An Alaska mountain range looks down upon Joint Base Elmendorf, Richardson, as Senior Line Medic Sergeant Dakota Klesson instructs his colleagues.
You're good for that bleeding to stop, remember? Okay.
But not your typical colleagues.
Carry him. Yep.
They're Indian soldiers.
So you're going to move into the breathing.
Taking part in Yudh Abhyas 2010.
Airway. And if he's talking to you, he has a good airway.
The annual and bilateral training exercise geared towards enhancing relationships between the Allied forces.
And now you're going to check his back. The easiest way to do that,
in this case, through training soldiers on the finer points of evaluating casualties.
they don't cross-train as much as we do. They're infantrymen or infantrymen, they're mortarmen or mortarmen, they're medics or medics. They don't cross-train, so it's nice for them to get in here so we can cross-train them a little bit so they get a little bit more broad knowledge. This is when you're going to make your decision if you need to call up an ambulance or a helicopter to get him to a hospital. They never know. If they're medics out there and their medic gets hit, then they might be, lost in the sauce. But if we train them, proficiently, they might be able to save that medic's life and still continue with their mission. And I'll switch.
The sharing of lessons and fundamentals dedicated to saving lives.
They're really eager to learn, which is good. It makes all the classes, I'm sure all the other instructors are finding it just as easy. They want to learn, they want to know what we know, and it's really easy and makes it seamless.
One more aspect of Yudh Abhyas 2010.
Excuse me?
Increasing the professionalism and capabilities of both the U.S. and Indian armies by training side by side.
Let's slide in.
Petty Officer Justin Whiteman, Joint Base Elmendorf, Richardson, Alaska.
Good, good.
You'll pair up into twos.
On the second and third day of Yudh Abhyas, U.S. Army Alaska soldiers and Indian Army soldiers go through basic airborne refresher, starting with how to properly strap on their parachutes.
Jumper will lean forward, put his arms behind him, and his buddy will help him put the parachute over his arms.
इस प्रकार से आगे वाला बंदा हाथ पीछे करेगा और पीछे वाला बंदा
U.S. Army jumpmasters train Indian Army jumpmasters by going through the steps using hand signals and voice commands, preparing them to relay important messages to the jumpers before they jump. Airborne soldiers from the U.S. Army Alaska train Indian Army soldiers to jump from a zip tower in preparation for the friendship jump on Thursday.
We're going to do a partnership jump or a friendship jump, then we will present these guys with our jump wings and they'll present us with their jump wings.
November 4th, 2010 was supposed to be the U.S. Army and Indian Army friendship jump at Malamute Drop Zone in south central Alaska.
U.S. Army.
Soldiers file in left and right, strapped from head to toe with jump gear. Excited and ready to jump, soldiers from both armies sit waiting patiently for takeoff.
It's a good experience to share with them. Big opportunity for me.
But the only thing falling from these skies is snow. Due to poor weather conditions, this mixed military friendship jump has been postponed until next week.
Winter has arrived at Joint Base Elmendorf, Richardson, Alaska, as soldiers take part in another day of Yudh Abhyas 2010 at a small arms range.
Safeties, if your shooter's zeroed, go ahead and wreck them off the range.
Today's goal, introduce their Indian counterparts to the M4 carbine rifle.
We'll go on next iteration, sir. Okay, Roger, go ahead and lock and clear his weapon then.
We're very impressed with their skills. They're a professional all-volunteer Army, and it definitely shows. We enjoy working with them. They're easy to work with, and they're making our life easier because of how professional they are, how well trained they are.
All right, go ahead and fire 3 rounds downrange at your respective target.
The M4 training highlights just one of the many bilateral exercises examples of operational knowledge sharing.
All right, good job. Pitch your weapon on safe.
Between the Indian and U.S. Armies.
It helps us think about ways we've been doing things. Maybe we can do them a little better and different by doing them differently the way these guys showed us how.
You just pull. Yeah. Don't do it too fast because you'll jerk your weapon, okay?
It's like any other profession. You want to get to know other professionals in that field, and it's even better when they come from a different background than you.
Another day of Yudh Abhyas 2010.
This is very good. This is very good.
Carrying on with its mission to improve the partnership readiness between the Indian and U.S. Armies. Petty Officer Justin Whiteman, Joint Base Elmendorf, Richardson, Alaska.
Diwali is an annual 5-day festival in India. The third day is celebrated as the main Diwali festival called the Festival of Lights.
And light is a metaphor for knowledge. Therefore, lighting of the lamp.
After the lighting of the lamp, traditional Indian sweets are handed out to everyone, followed by music and dancing. flag is raised at a range at Joint Base Elmendorf, Richardson. U.S. Army soldiers worked with Indian Army soldiers in close-quarter combat training during exercise Yudh Abhyas.
I'll get these guys squared away. Alright, we're good?
This training was developed to improve partnership readiness and cooperation between the two armies. These soldiers will continue to build an operational bond throughout the exercise.